It's as if you recited some of those facts before. But
You've
they're
written
serious.
about them
yes,
before.
I've written about them many times.
You know, this audience may not all have heard those facts before.
That's true. That's true. Also,
I want to point out that Kamala Harris grew up in a middle-class family also.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a terrible, no good, very bad day for Kamala Harris. You know it is bad for the Harris campaign when even Al Gore is laughing at your expense, and obviously the whole room laughed with him. And it's not just Al Gore. You know, we now have Senator Joe Manchin on the record saying he's not going to endorse Kamala Harris. Bill Maher essentially told Kamala to shut up, and there's this brand new Quinnipiac poll that shows Trump beating Harris by 1 point. Quinnipiac, which is one of the most left-wing pollsters out there. This was an awful day for Kamala Harris, but of course we start with that Al Gore clip. For those of you who missed it, he's making fun of the fact that Kamala, for pretty much every single economic question, instead of actually answering the question, instead of actually giving her economic vision for the country, she's just telling us that she grew up a middle-class kid. Here's how she answered the question during the ABC debate.
When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
Yeah,
and
there you have it. And she goes on about her life experience, trying to relate to voters. And then, you know, when she met with a local affiliate to talk to a reporter for her first one-on-one sit-down interview, she recycled the same talking points.
When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard.
Look, she has to keep repeating herself because she doesn't have anything of substance to say. It's the exact same talking points. And instead of it being talking points about her policy, instead of it being talking points about her vision, it's talking points about herself. And they call Donald Trump the obsessed one. They call him the arrogant one. Whereas with Kamala Harris, even though she's only talking about herself, she gets a pass. Well, Jake Tapper today actually did some journalisming, and he actually was attempting to hold Kamala Harris accountable. You'll notice that he seemed to be elbowing, nudging, pushing Nancy Pelosi on the fact that, you know, Kamala Harris has been repeating this phrase without actually saying anything.
Do you think she needs to be presenting more meat on the bones of, I get that she's from a middle-class family, it's great, and I get that she feels people's pains, great, but what about, like, here are the 5 things I'm going to do directly for you? Does she need to be doing more of that?
Well, she'll be doing some of that tomorrow once she'll put forth her economic plan. But
We'll
people like
that.
to have a connection to whoever is running for office, that they share their experience, that they understand their lives. And I think that's what she is establishing.
They want to have a connection. Maybe you should have actually had a mini primary so that the Democrat Party, as well as the rest of the nation, could have actually gotten to know your candidate. But instead, you shoved her down everyone's throats, and now we're stuck with that. So during this interview with Jake Tapper, Nancy Pelosi actually lost her temper and snapped at him. And from my perspective, she snapped at him almost as if she was his boss. I mean, just imagine yourself at work and your boss lecturing you about what you can and can't do. The way she talked to Jake Tapper was almost like, you know, a boss lecturing their employee. How dare you do this? And it's, you know, that's not how journalism is supposed to work.
Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris has bigger cognitive problems than Joe Biden.
Why would you even cover that? This is a person who's not on the level. He is their nominee for president. He is incompetent. Let's not even talk about the silliness of it all and the weirdness of it all and the assault on women that it is. We're not going to talk issues.
That's rich. Of course she wants to talk about an assault on women. She wants to play the victim card because that's all that they have. And, you know, you'll notice she called Donald Trump and J.D. Vance weird, which, you know, she's essentially calling half the country weird. I thought they were the party of joy. I thought they were the party of grown-ups. Why are they bullying half of the country? Why are they putting down and insulting half of the country? It's just absolutely wrong. And then she, says we shouldn't be talking about Donald Trump's statements because he's not mentally there. Well, what about Joe Biden, who clearly is actually not mentally there, yet somehow he's allowed to be president of the United States? That is just very funny, very rich coming from Nancy Pelosi. And to me, it looked like she was trying to, get, as if Jake Tapper's on the collar and she's holding him on the leash and be like, come back in line, get back in line, do your job, do what I tell you to do. She is upset that, he's actually doing some journalisming. Who would have ever thought? Now, Democrats, of course, they are in a bad mood. They've had a rough day. Earlier today, Senator Joe Manchin was very upset with Kamala Harris. Kamala said she wanted to eliminate the filibuster. Why? Because she wants to codify Roe versus Wade, and she knows the only way she can do that is not with the actual will of the people, not with a mandate from the people, but by forcing this through with the slimmest of margins. And that's why she wants to eliminate the filibuster. Well, Senator Joe Manchin said shame on her, and he will not endorse her.
You may have heard that Kamala Harris reiterated today that she wants to get rid of the filibuster in order to pass Roe legislation.
Shame on her. Shame on her. She knows that filibuster is the holy grail of democracy. It's the only thing that keeps us talking and working together. You get rid of that, and this would be the House on steroids.
So I know that you've been considering...
Really bad news for the Democrats. Senator Joe Manchin obviously being one of the more reasonable ones, one of the more moderate ones. You combine that with this latest Quinnipiac poll. First, yesterday, we had the New York Times Siena poll, which was great news for Trump, bad news for Harris. And then this Quinnipiac poll. Quinnipiac historically has always leaned Democrats. They've always underestimated Donald Trump. Well, they are now showing that Trump is winning the popular vote 48 to 47%. He's ahead by 1% in the popular vote. I'm telling you, if Trump wins the popular vote, it's over. I mean, that will be an electoral college landslide. There is no way he loses these swing states if he wins the popular vote. And if Quinnipiac is showing that, they were one of the worst offenders both times in 2020, 2016, as far as underestimating Trump. And when I take a look at those crosstabs, it doesn't look like they've improved much. So I think, I don't want to use the word landslide. Obviously, we all have to do our part, go out there and vote, bring our friends and family with us to vote, make sure you vote, make sure other people vote. But man, I am feeling real good today. I'm feeling really fired up today. And it's not just the polls. The early voting data actually is great news for Trump, great news for Republicans. According to Fox News, early mail-in voting data signals good news for GOP and Trump. Now, when you take a look at the actual breakdown, according to the data, the Democrat Party lead-in vote-by-mail requests has shrunk by over 5% in Florida, nearly 15% in North Carolina, and over 35% in Pennsylvania. In other words, if you want to put it this way, the GOP has improved their standing, improved their mail-in vote rates, improved their turnout by 35% in Pennsylvania. I mean, in races where, these will be decided by 1%, 2%, or maybe 0.5%, the fact that the GOP is up 35% in Pennsylvania, this is huge news. You combine that with the polling, it's just, I'm really excited. I'm having a great day here, a really good day. Speaking of good news, Ryan Routh, or Ruth, I've heard it pronounced both ways. If anyone knows the definitive pronunciation of his name, let me know in the comments below. He has officially been charged with an attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. The good news in this is that his case has been assigned to none other than Judge Aileen Cannon. This is according to Politico. Judge Aileen Cannon set to oversee a parent Trump assassination attempt in Florida. She, of course, is a Trump appointee, and she's the one who has been systematically, constitutionally dismantling Jack Smith's unconstitutional cases against Trump. So that, of course, is great news. Now, earlier in the video, I had told you that Bill Maher essentially told Kamala Harris to shut up. Here is the video of him doing that, in case you don't believe me.
Here's what Kamala Harris said this week about what we should do when the war is over. No reoccupation of Gaza, no changing of the territorial lines of Gaza, and an ability to have security in the region for all concerned in a way that we create stability. I feel like if that's what you have to say, don't say anything. Just shut up. I mean, everybody who talks about Israel these days is just so full of I mean, or just not, you know, I don't want children to die. Duh, who does? None of us want children to die. None of us want this war to go on. But it's not addressing what the problem is.
Look, obviously, Bo Maurer is going to vote for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump, but this sort of narrative out there does exist, especially for the pro-Israel Democrats. And yesterday, I talked about the Muslim mayor in Michigan endorsing Trump. And while none of these demographics, while none of these voting blocks may be enough to win Trump the election or to be the nail in Kamala Harris's electoral chances, you know, you add all of these up, there will eventually be a straw that breaks the camel's back. So even that that sort of dialogue from Bill Maurer, hey, I'll take it. I will take it. As always, this is my analysis, and that is what's happening from my point of view. What do you think about everything going on? What do you think about Al Gore making fun of Kamala Harris and her repeating her talking points? Nancy Pelosi snapping? What do you think about these new polls? I know a lot of you don't buy the polls. You know, I like looking at the data, and even if the data is skewed, at least we have something to work off of. What do you guys think about everything going on? Let me know down below, and I am excited to read how you guys are experiencing and viewing everything. If you haven't, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.